Hello, Rough Rider Nation, and welcome to this edition of the Rider Report. I'm Brad Clifford, and I am joined today by Ryan Cougill, our head baseball coach here at Yavapai College. Ryan, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Ryan's obviously been here a couple times. The Riders are currently 11-7 on the year and 3-5 in ACCAC action, and all of that done with very minimal practice time outdoors and no time practice on our field. We'll get to that in a little bit. YC leads the league with a .321 batting average and third in the league with a 2.80 earned run average. Good pitching there going. A couple of the players in the top 5 in batting average and home runs and saves. We'll talk about them a little bit later. So it's not bad for this young season and not bad for this young team. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this early season?
Yeah, I think the stats and the measurables are there. We've beat some really good teams. Beat a good Coach East team. Beat a good South Central team. So the numbers are there. The thing that's missing is just consistency, and that's in all aspects. That's on the field, off the field. So most of it is controllable, though. So we haven't hit our stride yet, and that's, I think, a good news, bad news situation. You want to be hitting your stride pretty soon, but the fact that we're still able to compete and keep our head above water in this conference without hitting our stride is good.
And this is one of the toughest conferences in the country, arguably one of the toughest conferences in the country. And so for us to go down to Coach East, go down to South, to split with these teams on the road, I think is very impressive, especially with this young team.
Well, typically, yeah. I mean, we want to go down. We want to sweep teams, of course. But I think when you look at the wear and tear that travel can have, we go two south, and we'll two everybody right now. But making a trip to Douglas, making a trip to Yuma, then Tucson, and then Eastern, all back to back to back to back. That's something where you want to come out of this thing and have realistic expectations, and you want to win 8 games, of course, but I think you just want to be playing good baseball and get your eyes off the scoreboard, and I think. As far as hitting your stride goes, that's what I mean. It's just playing your best baseball.
Right.
So we started 2 on Saturday.
So you've got a young team. I mean, let's talk individually a little bit. You've got a young team. Christian Encarnacion Strand is blowing it up.
Yeah.
He's looking like a good seasoned veteran. Let me just read some of his numbers. He's having an all-star. He leads the league in home runs with 5. He's second in the league in runs batted in. He's third in the league in batting average. I mean, he's a bright spot, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. Christian's an unbelievable talent, and I think you say we have a young team, and that's really true. But I think at this point of the year, you start to understand that your freshmen shouldn't be freshmen for much longer. We've got Rocky Botello, who's I think leading the league in hitting. It shouldn't be a freshman anymore. He's seen conference teams. He's seen the Centrals and Coach East and South Mountains of the world, and he's starting to understand that. When I say he, I suppose I'm talking about all freshmen. So our freshman pitchers should no longer be freshmen pretty soon. So the young team, I think explanation is certainly true, but I don't think we can use that as a crutch for much longer.
Much longer, right? Well, speaking of pitching, you're leading. You're third in the league in ERA, 2.80. And you've had some outstanding pitches, some hard luck losers on some of those games, but they've been doing a great job pitching.
Yeah. I think, we talk in our team that you want to try to put 2 of 3 together, and those 2 of 3 is pitching, defense, and hitting. And right now we're not consistently putting 2 of 3 together. So you'll see a really good pitching outing and some poor defense and some poor timely hitting. Or you'll see 11 runs scored, and you'll see some poor pitching or poor defense. So putting those 2 or 3 things together is kind of the key for us to really start playing our best baseball, like I talked about before.
So Dom had a great outing against Coach East. Took a loss in a 3-1 game. Marcus Christie's throwing pretty well from you, coming in the bullpen. Tyler Smith's throwing well. Who else standing out a little bit pitching wise?
Well, I think it's one of those things where we're really 23 men deep. And if you start singling names out, then you're going to have to start rattling off 20, 22, 23 names.
Right.
So, Marcus really stepped up big against Coach East in the second game with a 6-out save. And Dom started the first game off well, and Smitty's thrown well, and Bobby Mays thrown well, and Riley Agloff's thrown well, and Matt Novus, and the list goes on. So I think the advantage we talked about in previous conversations is our depth. And depth, I think, starts to show itself through a marathon, not a sprint. Right now, we're kind of at the beginning of a sprint. And keep our nose above water and get some practice time and get some home field time, then I think we've got a chance to really strike something here. I still really like our team.
And you speak of depth. Depth also breeds competition.
Yeah,
and competition is good amongst players in the team. It strives to make everybody better.
Yeah, well, a good example, we've got 2 sophomore catchers that one's committed to a Division I school and the other one will be. And we've got a third catcher, Tyler Boggs is his name. And Tyler had to work while he waited the first 2 weeks of the season. And he goes out yesterday and catches, this past week, he's caught 3 games. Right. So competition is not only against other teams, but also internal. And in fact, it's probably more important to be internal than it is against other teams.
Good statement there. Well, let's see, we've been on the road for our first 18 games. You guys, road warriors, y'all, tired of traveling. Not to mention practice. We've been traveling for practice. We've been able to get in the gym a couple times, but that's not the same as being outdoors. We've been able to get in the cages down there, but not on a field. How are the kids holding up? How are they sustaining all this?
Yeah, we have not really opened the door to be able to use that as a conversation for a crutch or an excuse. I think it isn't a perfect situation, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. Just the fact it's hard doesn't mean that it's unfair. Or that I can put all the cliches I want on it. I think at the end of the day, baseball is baseball, and we're going to find a way to get our work in. We're going to find a way when we show up on the field to be competitive as heck, and that's what our guys are doing, and that's why I love this team because, as I've mentioned before, give them a parking lot, give them a gym, give them a field out in the middle of nowhere, and they're going to go try to get their work done. So it's a competitive group. We maintain that competitiveness, and if we can get in a situation where we can actually start to work on some of the things that we're not doing well, then I really like this team.
Keep by the door then. Well, let's see. How's the field, by the way?
The field's wet.
It's been very wet. We have 27 inches of snow, so it is very wet. But
3 feet of snow, 2 feet of snow, whatever it was. But I think the work that was done down there, you start to see some of that stuff drain off. And it's 60 and sunny today, so we'll worry about today. And the field's going to be ready when it's ready. And like I said, we're going to, as soon as that field's ready, we will match up really well at home. So we're not too worried about the field right now as we are getting ready to get on the bus and head to Yuma and play a really good Arizona Western team.
Very well. All right, we have 6 former Rough Riders vying for roster spots on major league teams. Ken Giles, Cole Calhoun, Willie Calhoun, Chance Adams, JoJo Romero, and Merrill Kelly. 3 of those, I think, have already got spots on major league teams. 4 of them. I guess Willie and Chance are looking for that everyday thing there. So have you had a chance to talk to any of those boys?
Yeah. JoJo, I think got his feet wet with his first, I call it a big league outing. It's with the big league club in spring training, and then he just had a second one, I believe, Saturday. So being able to talk to those guys and them understanding that they spit out all the very similar things they used to spit out at Yavapai as far as it's a process and I'm just working.
Right.
And it's pretty cool to see. But to think those guys were in green and gold, as little as 3 or 4 years ago, it's pretty exciting. And you got a guy like Merrill who, my first year at Yavapai, he was a pitcher and I obviously was a position player coach, but getting to know him my first year and now he's in the big leagues, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat. Yeah. And he's certainly paid his dues to get up there as well.
Yeah, we talk at big leagues. He's been over in Korea making $1 million, so it's not like he's new to this whole professional baseball thing, but we're excited. At least he's an hour and a half away.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. So let's go ahead. We this Saturday we'll be facing Pima Community College in Tucson. Talking about Saturday coming up here. And then during spring break, we'll be at Chandler Gilbert Community College. So we do have some games here again coming up on the road. We're not scheduled to be home till March 26th, I believe. That's what we're hoping for, depending on the field conditions and whatnot. But that's what we're looking for. So far, so good with the Rough Riders, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season here.
Yeah, I think people just have to stay patient with the home games, and when they come, they're going to come in droves. So it'll be 22 straight home games.
Exactly.
They'll have all the seats they can handle.
Yeah.
So
you get tired of watching Rough Rider baseball. On March 14th, the players, along with the softball team, will be having a 2-hour clinic at Mingus Union High School in Cottonwood. The clinic will begin at 9 a.m., and that's just going to be learning to play baseball the Rough Rider way. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, excited.
very excited about that. So we want to thank you, Ryan, for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way. We want to remind you to follow us on www.goroughriders.com. Look to our goroughriders.com site for the games that will be streamed. We are partnering with Prescott Media Center and KYCA and John Russ to stream some away games as well as the majority of our home games. So check the goroughriders.com page for those dates. Otherwise, we want to thank you for joining us, and as always, go Rough Riders.